Welcome to Midlife Money Made Easy. I'm Julianne Needham. This is the show to help you make sense of your finances in midlife. And this is the very first episode, so welcome. Thank you for joining me. And I'm delighted to welcome our first guest, Sarah Williams. Sarah spent 20 years as a debt advisor and now blogs about debt under the name Debt Camel, without jargon, which is something I am delighted to hear. So thank you very much for joining me, Sarah.
Thank you for inviting me, especially on the very first episode.
So firstly, why the name Debt Camel?
Yeah, I get asked this a lot. I wanted to set up a website because I was a citizens advice advisor at that point. And I wanted something people could look at in their own home in the middle of the evening. They could get easy information without any jargon. So I got it all mapped out in my mind and I couldn't find a name. All the good names had already been taken, it felt like, for the website name. And then I bought a card for my mum from Moonpig. I thought, all I need is debt and the name of an animal to make it quite catchy, easy to remember. My children wanted me to do Debt Panda, but that was a bit black and white, so I went for Debt Camel.
So for anybody listening to this who is feeling overwhelmed at the moment because of their debt, what words of reassurance can you offer them?
There will be things you can do to help. Some of them may be bigger things and you may need some time to sort of see the full picture and decide what you do need to do. But there are almost always small things you can start doing quite quickly that will make things a little bit better and will help you to see that bigger picture.
Thank you. And we are going to come on to some of those things. So in each episode of Midlife Money Made Easy, listeners will learn 3 things they need to know about a topic, in this case debt, and 1 thing they can do today or in the next few days. But before we get started on those 3 elements, could you make the distinction between good debt and bad debt?
The distinction I use sounds quite broad, but it works for almost every situation. A debt is only good debt if it doesn't go on for longer than the thing you're buying. So if you're buying a house, you've got a mortgage, it's a 25 or 35-year mortgage, and your house is still going to be there at the end of that. You may even still be living in the same house. If you're buying a car, that goes on for a fair length of time, but it's not going to be there in 25 or 35 years' time. So the debt has to finish much sooner. You wouldn't want to pay for a car for 35 years. And if you're going to buy a pair of shoes and put them on a credit card, if you're only making the minimum payments to a credit card, and then that debt's going to go on for 10, 20, 30 years, and the shoes will be in the bin long before the debt's cleared off. So the distinction there is you're paying for something where you're carrying on paying long after the thing has gone.
Okay, thank you. And so looking more long term, what is the first thing that people need to know about debt?
Well, my first thing, when you asked me what the 3 things I would suggest are, actually just follows on from what I was saying there. It's credit cards. If you're only paying the minimum to a credit card, it takes an astonishingly long time to clear a debt because the minimum depends on your balance on your card, and a lot of it's paying off the interest and only a little bit's actually paying off the debt itself. But that little bit that's paid off means that next month the minimum is a tiny bit lower. It may only have gone down by 14 pence or £1.10. So you don't suddenly feel, oh, phew, I'm 14 pence better off this month than I was. You don't notice that at all. But because the minimums drop every month by a tiny amount, this keeps you trapped in debt for literally decades for some credit cards. So to get out of that trap is actually a comparatively easy way to get out if you can stop spending on the card, is to freeze the payments you are making to that debt. Tell your credit card, you can do this with all the UK credit cards, that you instead of paying the minimum, which is now £74.40 a month, tell them you're going to pay £75 a month as a fixed amount every month going forward. So it's just a little tiny bit more than the current month. And that can bring your time down from 19 years down to 5.5 years.
And you can just do that by phoning up the credit card company.
You can do it by
arranging
phoning
that.
up the credit card company, or you can do it in the app in a lot of cases.
Okay.
The place where you tell the credit card that you want it to take a direct debit from you, it will default to taking the minimum amount, but you can normally select, I would like to make a fixed payment.
So just make it slightly higher than the
Yep.
minimum amount, and that will help you pay it off a
It
lot more
really
quickly.
does. And if you round it up, it's also, you know in your head, it's £75 going to that credit card every month. It's easy to budget for.
And so what is the second thing that people should know about debt?
The second important thing, I think, is to avoid what I call a cycle of borrowing, where your credit cards go up and you go, ooh, that's a lot. I'm going to get a loan to clear those down. Just one payment, it'll be much easier. I won't need to use the cards again. And then you don't close the cards. So Christmas comes along or something unexpected goes along and you put something on a credit card, and in a year's time, you're back with the big loan, most of the big loans still there, and your credit cards are going up again. And in a couple of years' time, you think, oh, perhaps I'll get another consolidation loan. And this time the consolidation loan is bigger. It's probably more expensive as well, a higher interest rate. And that means that you're actually in a worse position. So you go and use the credit cards again. So this sets up an endless cycle. So if you've got credit card problems, don't look to a consolidation loan to solve those. Instead, stop using the cards, look to get 0% balance transfers, and use that. If you can get a 0% balance transfer, use that to carry on paying what your previous minimums were. So if you get a 0% balance transfer, your minimum might drop from £70 a month to £35 a month. Carry on paying that £70 if you can. That's taking full advantage of the 0%, and your credit cards are really going to start dropping fast.
And could you just explain what a consolidation loan is and what a secured loan is?
Okay, a consolidation loan is just a general term for a loan you take out not to put in a new kitchen or get a car or go on holiday, but to actually clear other debt. That's the main purpose you want this loan.
Putting them all together and putting it all in one.
So you're consolidating,
place.
2 or 3 credit cards or a credit card and a couple of catalogues and an overdraft. You're putting them all into one. And people think this sounds really great, just one payment a month. So it's a loan to do that. There are basically 2 sorts. If you own your own house, you can get what's called a secured loan. These are dangerous. It may sound like they're cheap, but this way you've taken a credit card or a catalogue or something where if you get into financial trouble, you can freeze the payments to that or make just a token payment for a while. You can't do that. As soon as you put it onto your house by getting a secured loan, so that has to be paid every month.
So it's secured against your house?
Yes, that's right.
In addition to a mortgage?
Sometimes these are called second charge mortgages. Sometimes they're called secured loans. They're pretty much exactly the same. They are a very risky way, and you should avoid these. Look for your other options. Talk to a debt advisor. If you can't find a way through and you think a secured loan looks like your only option, it isn't. You can look for something like a debt management plan, which will freeze the interest on your debts and let you pay less. And won't stop you getting a new fix with your current mortgage when that ends.
Okay, thank you. And then moving on to the third thing about debt, what is it that people should know?
This third thing I think will surprise a lot of people. Your credit score matters a lot less than you think. And you should trust credit reports a lot less, because they will show you a picture of what your current debts are and what you're paying, and they're very useful if you can check to see if there are any errors on there. Perhaps something's on there which doesn't belong to you at all. Somebody else's debt has got onto your list by mistake. So they can be very useful. But whenever you look at these reports, they're always giving you helpful tips to try to improve your score. And very often these come down to, oh, you've got a lot of credit cards. Why don't you improve your credit utilisation by getting a consolidation loan? So you do that, you get the loan, and then then comes back and says, oh, you've just got a loan, you haven't got any credit cards. You can improve your credit score by taking out a new credit card. These, what are called free reports, make their money by getting you to take out more debt, more loans or more credit cards. And the ones they advertise are adverts. They're literally adverts paid for by the lenders. They're not necessarily the best options you can get. So I quite often see somebody who wants a 0% balance transfer, and they say, oh, I can only get this one from a credit card, which is going to be really expensive at the end, and it's quite short term. 0%. I say, that's not very good, is it? Why don't you go and look at a proper website which does a proper comparison for you, like Money Saving Expert, and see what you can get there. And not always, but quite often people come back and say, oh, I've just been able to get a 27-month one from Lloyds, much better than this. Definitely one I did not want to take.
Yeah, I mean, this is news to me that credit reports make their money by offering loans to the people checking their credit report.
Yeah, I mean, they're not from the credit report itself. They are adverts from lenders.
But they're making their money from those adverts
yes.
that the lenders advertise on their website.
There's nothing free in this world. If you're offered something from free, ask yourself how somebody's making money off of that.
So for somebody listening who is in debt, what's the one thing that they can do today, tomorrow, or in the next few days that will help them get out of their debt?
Okay, this is two things, so you'll forgive me there. If you don't have a list of your debts, you need to get one. They don't go away because you don't look at them. So make a complete list, even the ones you don't think are problems. Just write them all down so you've got a proper list of them. Once you've got that debt list, have a think. Can I stop using credit cards, catalogues like Next and Very and Argos? Can I stop using those and stop using Buy Now, Pay Later like Klarna and Monzo Flex and completely? Like, not at all. No excuses like I want to get the Section 75 protection or anything, but can I get through?
What's the Section 75 protection?
Okay, Section 75 is a bit of extra protection you get if you buy something large worth over £100 with a credit card. If it doesn't turn up, you've got some rights against the credit card company as well as whoever sold you it.
Thank you.
So don't make excuses to yourself about that. Just say, can you stop using these? Or does making all the minimum payments to your current debts take up so much of your income that you have to go and spend on those cards again for groceries or petrol or school uniform for the kids? If you can't stop using them, then unless you can radically change your budget, you probably need to talk to a debt advisor, because there are some good debt solutions that can help you. And there it's important to talk to the right people. And I think, Julia-Ann, you're going to share a list of good places to get debt advice.
We will absolutely share a list of where people can get debt advice, both through your website and some well-known debt advice charities. But for anyone listening who is worried about their debt, either something it's completely overwhelming them or it's just at the back of their mind and they think, I'm not on top of this, where should they go?
If you're on Instagram, you can find me on Instagram at @DebtCamel. It's a pretty good place to start if you're feeling lost. If you know your past that stage and you are going to need a debt solution, if you've got arrears on bills, rent, council tax, energy bills, then I think your local citizens' advice is very often the best place to go, because they know what help's available locally as well as nationally. If your debts are more standard mainstream debts like credit cards and loans and overdrafts, then go to National Debt Line if you want to talk to somebody on the phone, or if you think you need to get interest frozen on your debts, talk to Step Change.
Okay, and with Citizens Advice and the two helplines that you've mentioned, people can just turn up at Citizens Advice, and the others have got helplines, Step Change and the National Debt Helpline.
National Debt Line.
National Debt Line, they can just phone those up anytime?
The phone times will only work during, reasonable long working hours. National Debt Line's got a sister service called Business Debt Line for anyone that's self-employed or got a small limited company. So that's a very specialist area of debt work, because people there often have their business debts and their personal debts often quite mixed up, perhaps even literally in the same bank account. So it's good to go to a specialist if you're self-employed.
Okay, but take action today.
Well, take action today. Make a list of your debts today. You don't have to do nothing unless you've actually literally got the bailiffs knocking at the door, in which case, phone National Debt Line, because you can get through to them immediately. You don't have to literally do it this minute, but you can make the decision in your mind that this is not how you want to live, and that you're going to look at your budget, what you can afford, what possible cutbacks are, and what your debts are, what your first debt you're going to target is to clear that.
And I think when you take that first step, you'll probably feel a massive sense of relief.
I think so. I mean, sometimes you can find it daunting because with debts, there's lots of things you could be doing, but taking sensible steps can start to make the whole thing feel like something that you are going to be able to do.
Sarah Williams of Debt Camel, thank you very much. And thank you for anyone watching or listening for joining me. I'm Juliana Needham, and this has been the first episode of Midlife Money Made Easy. Join me again next week.